And title drop. I feel like we finally had the title drop. Summer, Hikaru died. Finally, Hikaru has died in Yoshiki's mind. He's finally letting that go. Stop playing the make-believe. Stop playing along with this. Finally accept that he's gone. And this is a new thing. And I think that's really sort of the acceptance that Yoshiki needs. And pretty much kind of leaves the door open for probably the next arc of this whole entire story. Now that he's accepted that. Now he's accepted that this is pretty much a pet. I love when they said that. He's kind of like a son, like a child that you need to protect. And so he's like, yeah, that's pretty much. I got to teach it things. Sit. No, stay. All that kind of stuff. It kind of opens the door to this being sort of a warped reality of Yoshiki taming an animal. This animal is in the area. It's dangerous. And I got to teach it right from wrong. That it might do some dangerous things. Which, yes, can sort of leave the door open to. And especially with a lot of what Kobayashi says this episode. That it might not be Hikaru that attacked the old lady. It could have been something else that came down. It's just trying to make it out like that with the whole voice and everything. I don't know. I don't know. I think that's more getting into the primal instincts of what he is. I think it's going to be what that is. But really interesting episode. I think the bigger part of this episode I liked the most was really getting into Hikaru, the mindset of this being. And I think I got a hint of that from the PVs. This idea that this thing sort of has, even though it is this monster, this being that isn't human, it's getting mixed up what is its emotions and what is Hikaru's emotions. I need to harm this. My primal instinct is to take out Yoshiki because he's no longer accepting me, but I don't want to because I want to protect this thing. What is me anymore? What am I anymore? He doesn't want to accept me anymore, so now I have to struggle with what am I? I can't be Hikaru anymore, but I can't not be Hikaru because those feelings are mixed in with me. He's getting mixed up. as Kobayashi kept saying, you guys are getting mixed up. Some really cool stuff in here. I like the whole segment with Kobayashi as well, seemingly confirming that she is the mother of Tanaka, this guy from the company, because she says, my son already left. He was harmed by this thing. It's a wound that will never go away. And if I remember correctly, he has a wound on his neck, so I'm assuming that's probably from the father. I think overall, just this episode had a lot of cool stuff in it. So let's go through it like usual. Start from the very beginning, him going to Hikaru's house. Right here, kind of an extension to before, him really literally sitting in front of this guy and looking at Hikaru constantly and going, wait, this isn't right. This thing, what am I doing here? Basically, what am I doing here? He's dead. And I think that really kind of helped the fact that he's in that room. He's in a place that has a lot of memories with him and Hikaru, which is pretty much everywhere because they've been with each other for so long. But in the room, seeing the pictures, I think is what really kind of cemented it for him. I'm seeing all these pictures and this person is no longer here. Why I keep going along with this. It did also touch a little bit on the fact that the father, Hikaru's father, at some point went up into the mountain that nobody else is allowed to climb. I'm assuming that's the same mountain that Kobayashi was talking about, where this presence was there that is no longer there. I'm assuming that that mountain has some sort of thing that was supposed to be sealed in it, which I'm guessing is now inside of Hikaru's body. There was something sealed in it, and that something is, which I'm assuming is the Inuki-sama. That thing was sealed there and was supposed to keep things from coming down. And maybe possibly whenever Hikaru's father went up there to do the ritual, he failed, and that's why he never came back. Something like that, like it consumed him, despite the fact that there is supposed to be this thing about not taking any of their clan. Something like that. But yes, he went up there at some point, and apparently, same time year, apparently Hikaru went up there and disappeared. That whole thing is kind of laying out there. But anyways, going back to Yoshiki, again, seeing all these pictures, I think it really kind of cemented for him. This thing right here is not him. And he's having this massive struggle within himself of like, why am I doing this? Why am I playing these games? Why am I going along with this? What is even this thing? That stuff is really interesting. Again, that little conflict that he has of, he's getting comfortable. I like later on when he's in the classroom, he's thinking about that stuff and he keeps telling himself, stop thinking about it, move on, move on, move on, move on. I think that is sort of a denial thing. A denial thing that he doesn't want to dig too much. And I think that part of that is that fear, like he said, I don't want to have to kill you. Does that mean that he can kill me? Or he would kill me? There's two elements to it. I think part of it is that he doesn't want to accept that Hikaru's dead. He wants to always have this thing at his side. Again, this is in a town where, at the time, that was the only person that was his age. So it became his friend. They were always, like, attached to the hip. And now suddenly it's gone. I don't want that void, so I'll just accept that this is here and just go along with it. But the other side of it is a fear. What is this thing? Can it kill me? Is it going to kill me? That fear is there. And again, of course, you have maybe in the middle areas that mixed aspect that could be affecting him, that they sort of have some paranormal connection between the two of them. But anyways, yeah, it was very interesting. He gets a little panicky, pukes. Then context is Kobayashi. That's why we have the scene with Kobayashi, which again is kind of interesting to see that she has a similar situation as he does. She kind of mentioned this before, coming to him, acknowledging that there's something going on with him. She mentioned in the previous episode that she's seen something in the mountains, it's no longer there, and now weird things are happening in the town. And I think that she's seen some presence with him. She can see things that other people can't see. She's seen something with him. So she knew that something was going on. And so he's finally admitted to her that that is his friend. But interesting that she immediately goes into talking about the both of us need to face the truth. Don't need to be punishing ourselves. It only makes things easier on yourself, but makes no difference to the dead. That's interesting there. She goes immediately into talking about how there's crazy things happening in the area, strange incidents, impurities, things that are foreign to you. We're getting visitors who shouldn't be here. The town and villages are slowly going mad. And I think it's all caused by that thing replacing your friend. She's already on top of it. And again, this goes back to my theory that I have with the whole mountain that nobody's supposed to go up to. Hikaru / what I'm thinking is Unuki-sama. This being has come down from the mountains and is in the village now. And because that's no longer there, it's almost like the seal that's keeping things away, a presence, and now everything's coming down with it. Everything's coming out of the forest and coming into the town and attacking and making people go mad. Or you could probably say there's an element where his energy, because it's moving, things are drawn to it. I think that's probably a thing there as well. Again, this mountain that nobody's supposed to go to, it probably has a lot of spirits that are drawn to him, or at least being controlled by him. That's interesting as well. But again, she's saying it here too. Maybe it needs to stay in the mountain to prevent the distortions from spreading. She's already picking up on it as well. She wants to leave the town, but she has her mother-in-law there and her daughter's there. Eldest son's already gone. Eldest son. He says both of us, she said both of us need to face the truth. And this is when she gets into what I'm thinking again is probably Tanaka. She says that her late husband at some point came back home, implying that he was dead once, saying late. She had a dead husband, and one day he just showed back up. Yeah, she was perfectly fine with it. Like, I've always wanted him to come back. Sure enough, yeah. Husband comes back from the dead, accept it. Again, similar to Hikaru. He disappeared, come back, and Yoshiki accepts it. I give anything to have Hikaru back at my side. For Kobayashi, yeah, I give anything to have my husband back at my side again. She accepted it. But she says it didn't go well. He gave my son a wound that will never heal. Again, I think that's probably Tanaka. Because again, he's very familiar with the guys in this village that now that he's come there. And additionally, he has a scar on his neck. And he doesn't like these paranormal things either. And he has a very much so an awareness of them as well. It gave a sense when we met him that he is very aware of these things, knows how dangerous they are. And I would assume that probably whatever took over Kobayashi, or at least his father, if that's his father, whatever took over that and mimicked it, possibly was really strong. And again, nearly probably killed him. And so he's aware of how tough these things are, and they don't. The company and everybody in charge, they don't understand how dangerous this is. And even when he comes to here, he's very aware. Immediately, he's like, we need to go over here. I need to put up a barrier. He's very cautious about what's around him and very familiar with this stuff. Now, the question mark is, does it have anything to do with Hikaru? Does his father have anything to do with Hikaru? That's the question mark, or at least this Unuki-sama. Was that a similar thing, or was it a different spirit altogether? I'd be curious. But yeah, she pretty much wraps up the conversation with talking about how he needs to stay away. That the two of them are mixing. I don't want you to end up like me. Thought you should know the truth and move on from this. Again, she doesn't want Yoshiki to make the same mistakes she is. This sucks because I'm starting to really like this lady. She's like literally coming to Yoshiki to protect him, trying to give him advice, being very kind of cautious about barriers. Like the way that she's talking is very much so like, this happened to me. I don't want it to happen to you. She's not saying don't do this or saying get away from him or I'm going to call the Secret Service or whatever. I'm going to call the government and tell them to come in here and stop it. She's literally just saying, I know what you're going through. It's painful. I didn't want to let it go either, but you need to walk away from it. It's dangerous. I had that experience too, and I had to walk away from it. Very interesting. Sadly, I think that she's gone. Like, I literally do think that she's probably going to be the next one to go down. I thought that it might be Asako because she was sniffing. She had a scent there. She was seeing something. She noticed something, and Hikaru noticed that she was noticing something. But I think it's going to be Kobayashi. And it's probably going to be, now that Yoshiki has accepted Hikaru for what he is, she's going to run into them again, and she's probably going to no longer be on the sidelines. She's going to probably be a little bit more forceful. I could totally see her turning into like a I forget what the name of the character is. Like a character from Summertime Render to show up with a big hammer and like, okay, I have to take on business. Like suddenly she becomes like in a business suit, gloves on, hammer, ready to go to fight the thing. Like she turns into a total like a yokai fighter or something like that. Anyways. But yeah, Yoshiki goes back to school, now really conflicted about what she said, what he wants to do. Again, right here, thinking about the fact that he said, I don't want to have to kill you, which means he can kill me. That whole thing there, what exactly is this thing? Again, really conflicted here. I love how they sort of portrayed this, where almost like his body is kind of seeping down in the ground. He doesn't want to think about it. Move on, move on, move on, move on, move on. He doesn't want to think about it. Just don't think about it. It's too complicated. I wouldn't even know what to do. So just move on from it. Don't even think about it. I like that aspect of trying to run away in his own mind. But yeah, Hikaru comes up there, starts bugging him. Yoshiki tells him to go away, go home, don't worry about it. Oh, you're mad? No, I'm not mad. Move on, gonna go away from me. What are you interrogating me now, creep? And again, building into this moment where Hikaru realizes, oh, it is about me. Oh, you went off and checked out this other person. What was that person talking to you about? Getting very, very picky about it. But I think the key thing there was when he asks about Kobayashi, who's this person you went to see? He says, are you interrogating me? Go away, creep. You used to tell me everything. You say that like it was you before. Again, this being is always pulling up memories from this Hikaru. And he's pulling those memories and going, but in my memory it says that you always tell me everything. But in my memory it says that I had to do this to get your attention. But in my memory it says you love this face. You always laughed at it. You say that like it was you before. That was that trigger point. That was that point where Yoshiki's basically telling this being, I've played along all this time and accepted everything, even earlier with the watermelon. Yes, I know that you like watermelon. Yes, I know that you could spit them out like the manga. Now I'm no longer accepting that as you. I'm not going to accept it no more. And yeah, that's when Hikaru breaks. Hikaru breaks. You have a face like him and talk like him, but you're not Hikaru. Which I think is a good point. It is a very good point for Yoshiki to finally come to. I can't keep accepting this. I have to finally push back. But in Hikaru's mind, he's breaking because, wait, you said that you accept it and you're good with this. Now suddenly he's not accepting it more. I think there's that element inside Hikaru where it's almost wanting to, again, primal instincts, protect itself. Okay, it was at bay because Yoshiki said that he accepts this. Perfect person to kind of hide away with. Hide amongst them. He accepts it so I can hide next to him all the time. But now he's not accepting anymore. Now suddenly, this is not good. But in his mind, he hears Yoshiki saying, get out. Don't need you anymore. You're a fake. You're a fake. You're a fake. And he doesn't know what emotions are him. I like that, again, that inner conflict that Hikaru's having about what his primal instincts wants to do, what Hikaru's memories say, and what exactly is him. Again, that identity crisis, having that identity crisis within himself, all culminating to the fact that he can't not like him anymore, but then breaks out. The ooze comes out, his inner self comes out, starts attacking Yoshiki. Interesting that Yoshiki at some point says it's, gross, it's icky, I don't like this feeling, but then at some point saying, it feels good. It was almost like an element as it was getting inside of him that it suddenly, he started having the feeling that it was a good feeling. I think that sort of comes with certain creatures having like different toxins and whatnot that it kind of gives off that will sort of numb the pain or whatever as it sort of overtakes it, as it sinks its teeth in. I think that's what it's sort of going with there. Then Yoshiki sees a few things while he's being overtaken. He sees an old village. He sees a lady, which note, the lady looked like she had the same eyes as Hikaru. So I'm assuming that she's probably like an old member of the Indo family, like somebody way late in the bloodline. And the person's holding a head. And the person's holding a head, question mark. Don't know. That could be a billion different things. That could be the Unuki-sama. That could be somebody, I don't know. Somebody that possibly faced tragedy because of Unuki-sama. Anyways, Hikaru snaps out of it, apologizes, walks out the door, says, don't hate me. Sorry, please don't hate me. We cut to Yoshiki at home, again right here, acknowledging in his brain that he's been accepting that this is a replacement, and it's not a replacement. And also hating himself for accepting that this was a replacement. I'm the worst. I tried to ignore it at the time. This isn't a replacement for Hikaru. I can't keep treating it like the real Hikaru. Which again, I thought was sort of the ultimate conclusion that he was going to have to come to. If he was going to accept this thing, and I can totally see it from a perspective of somebody just fearing this thing. Going along with it because if I don't, it will kill me. But he needs to stop thinking that it's him. We got the next day, the girls are talking about how Hikaru is not there and that he's always been kind of clinging to Yoshiki lately. everybody's kind of acknowledging that Hikaru is changed a little bit. And they're specifically saying that it's almost like he's clinging to you like a son, like a child, basically, like a child to a mama. And I'm like, I could totally see this going this direction, this idea of it. I was more thinking like a puppy dog. Like this creature is like a puppy dog. Hikaru just looks like a dog, just constantly looking to Yoshiki or whatever, constantly trying to play and be happy. But that seems to click for Yoshiki, realizing this thing has pretty much been talking like a kid. Every single time it says something or replies to him or acts like certain things, it's like a kid. A kid discovering things for the first time. It has the memories of Hikaru, but still, like, again, eating certain things or whatever. It's like a first experience with everything. It's just like a child experiencing the things for the first time. But he immediately goes in there and apologizes. He says, why would you apologize? I did that to you. And then he goes out to reach to Yoshiki, and Yoshiki flinches. Says, you flinched? No, I didn't. You're afraid of me after all. No, I'm not. He says, please don't hate me. I won't do it again. I know that I'm just intruding into your friend's body. And Yoshiki acknowledges, I shouldn't get close. It's dangerous. But still, this Hikaru doesn't know anything. Really naive. And I gotta teach him a few things. Again, I think this is the point where Yoshiki has finally accepted this is not Hikaru. Hikaru has finally died in his mind. He's no longer going to accept this as a replacement. No longer going to not think about it. It's right here. Don't think about it. It's right here. Don't think about it. Just keep going. Keep things as they were, as they always have been for my entire life. And finally accepting this is something else. And it's something else that's dangerous, question mark, or something else that needs to be taught. It's a lonely brat after all. I find it interesting. I find it very interesting. I can see this going a few different directions. One's going to be the idea that him accepting this is like a pet, basically. This is a monster that I need to teach to be proper, otherwise it might harm other people. It could turn into an aspect of him basically wielding a terrible force and trying to keep it tame to protect people. I can also see going in the direction of almost him, I doubt it, him manipulating the thing for his own gain. Sort of seeing power and having something strong and dangerous like Hikaru at his side, which could end up being a thing that could evolve into when Tanaka finally takes action. And I think Tanaka will probably take action the most when Kobayashi dies, because I think Kobayashi is definitely next on the chopping block. If she dies, I think he'll go super vengeful. I think Yoshiki's going to have to at first keep Hikaru a secret, but then once people sort of sniff on to everything, he's going to have a conflict whether to allow Hikaru to take a life or not. I think that's going to ultimately bring up a massive question mark later on when Hikaru has to kill somebody to protect himself. I don't know. It could also turn into the idea where Tanaka accepts Hikaru, but I don't think so. He could accept Hikaru based on the idea that it protects the people of the village. In the end, it's still the same being that was protecting the mountainside and protecting the village, but now it's in the village. And it's the necessity to protect it. Because Tanaka has already talked about the fact that he knows these things are incredibly powerful and probably not something we can deal with. He knows that some of this stuff is just not something you could take on. We'll see. Anyways, that's my thoughts on episode 3 of Hikaru Dies. Really interesting episode. Looking forward to more. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. Become a member of the channel if you want to support this content. Until next time, you'll take care.